Hey everyone, it's Angie and the Traveling Yarn Yogi, and waiting for Keith. I'm hoping that I see him. There he is.
Did I
Hey,
figure this out?
yes, you
Can
did
you hear me?
great. I
I
can.
figured it
Yay!
out.
Tell me about it. I've had nothing but
My
problems.
computer won't let me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had to go to Firefox to use it.
Yeah, it
It
I
won't use
downloaded
on.
it, but
Mm.
but then I don't know my password to get into the email to get the link. There's a
Shayna
roadblock every which way.
Shayna uses it, and so she was telling me how to do it when we were
I
live.
was I like did one of hers and it wasn't live and we had done the whole thing.
Oh,
And I
good.
thought it would remember me from last time, but it didn't.
Well, I hope some folks will come out. I put it out. It's on all three places. So,
So this is live, like people are
yeah,
watching.
live.
Okay, so I just have to be careful what I say
Yeah,
because you never know what's going to come out of this
yeah. I
mouth.
can't edit this one. I can before I post it to YouTube, but
Right?
you know how that goes. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's just
I'm good.
busy. There's Laura
I'm
and
working away. Hi,
Victoria.
Laura.
Laura
So am I
is
able to see anyone who's here, or is it, or do you like go to your Instagram on?
no, I'm looking at it'll post from all three on here, I think. I don't know. I listen, I'm still learning. Katrin's here and
This is too advanced for me. This is
please.
I tap out. I'm done after Instagram, TikTok. I'm done.
No, I can't do I'm really so this is it's all new because it lets me go live on all three places. At least I think so.
That's cool.
But I can see if they sign in and say their name, like Deborah Suzanne, and they've been coming every week. And then if I have any other new ones, Victoria has too. And then what happens is, oh, there's Debbie K. You know her. She,
Hey, Debbie.
my friend, does all the classes with us. So it's helping a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know. Might just go back to Facebook. But anyway, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on. I'm
absolutely.
excited. I
Absolutely.
know some of your followers that were on the summer crawl with the
Oh, awesome.
Iverside. They told me they were coming today too, so that's kind of cool.
Good
So
one.
I'll let you know. You can't see who's coming, can you? Or can you?
It says I'm in the show.
Okay.
Everyone can see and hear you.
Okay. So
I feel like
be
it's giving
careful.
me a warning.
Well, I'm glad this is the first time we've done this together. And so, and I don't know why I haven't asked you to do it before, but you've always done so much for me over the years and I appreciate it. But I wanted to kind of just, I think everybody does know who you are. If they've been on my bus, they certainly know who you are. Because
Well, hi, I'm Keith.
yes, I brag about you all the time. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Deborah. Okay, I got Deborah's, all kinds of things. So for those of you who don't know, Keith is Leonard is the YarnSnob yarns, and that's kind of, well, no, that's not how I met you. I met you teaching, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll play around with things that we've done together.
Absolutely.
So
Hi, I'm Keith Leonard. I'm a lot of things.
yes, you are, and I
I'm
told
Keith
people.
Leonard. A lot of things. Every day's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
The background knitting story is my friend Carol, who's my best friend today, but in elementary school taught me how to knit, and in fact, I don't think I wasn't really allowed in because I was a boy, and my mom took me to a local knitting store where Shayna was working, and that's how I met Shayna. This is like 100 years ago.
Oh,
Um,
wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, and so it was a store called Hand Knits, um, in Bergen County, New Jersey, where I grew up, and I met Shayna there, and I got pretty bullied, at the end of it, and stopped knitting for a while. And then I picked it up again in college. And
Hmm.
at that time, Shayna had opened a knitting store with her mom and her sister. And
Yeah.
Carol took me to the knitting store. And then I started working at Shayna's store.
Ah,
And yeah, that's the
I
story
didn't know
there.
that. Okay.
And then I knit, then like I was like super, super addicted and, knit through college and I worked at 6 different knitting stores. And I always say like, except for one, they all end up in like they ended up in like a blowout. So, at what point do you say like, maybe they're not the problem?
Uh-huh.
So, but I always loved doing finishing. I love doing knitwear
Yeah.
finishing. And, I was trained by Shayna and I was addicted to it.
You were
And
trained by Shayna? I
yeah,
had
it's a
no
yeah,
idea. Oh,
yeah. Because, Shayna did a lot of finishing
wow. Okay.
at her store.
Sure.
And, I learned the mattress stitch and duplicate stitch and all the, the fundamentals. If that's the correct word. But, I learned it through Shayna there and started a business called It's All Done. And I was working in Manhattan at a store in Manhattan and driving into, you don't drive into Manhattan over the GW to work in a knitting store. It just doesn't work. So when I left that store, I put together this website called It's All Done. No clue what I was doing. Before all these plug and play websites, it took like months. And I put this finishing business together, and people would mail me sweaters to put together to my parents' house, and I'd send them back. And then I started, getting known for that, and stores started calling me out to teach. And then I spent many years traveling the country. And
That's
here
how
we are
we
today.
met. I,
Yeah.
I sent you stuff right away. When I
Yeah.
discovered you down in Sarasota, I think at that knitting store,
Yeah.
Good Yarn, I said, "Oh, that's all I need is a finisher."
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
I
so
kept doing it. And then
I
we took
did all
classes.
over.
Then you started teaching. We've got someone from Finland, Tina. I think that's
Hi,
how you would
Tina.
say it. Tiina. I know I'm not saying it correctly, but so cool. Yeah, so
Well,
I met you there, but then I start taking classes from you soon after, I think. So how long have you been teaching? A while, right?
I can't say the number. Someone will figure out my age.
So, so
It's
Knits
got to
All
be.
Done was first, and then you started teaching, or about
I
the same
started
time?
teaching. No, I
Okay.
started teaching really a couple of weeks off the bat from launching the business,
Oh wow, yeah.
and a local knitting store that I hadn't worked at. There were a lot of them in New Jersey. Asked if I would come teach some classes, and then I was the cute little kid. I was going around to knitting stores. I would drive 2 hours away with business cards.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, and but back then I didn't know what I was doing when I was teaching. Like I didn't. It was my first short row class. I put the lizard ridge pattern in front of everyone and I said, just make this. And they were doing wrap and turns and picking up the wraps and counting all at once. It was a nightmare. And during COVID, now that class has been like redeveloped, like severely.
Sure.
But someone like I was telling a story and someone said I was saying how bad it was. And someone who was in that original class was at the Vogue virtual class, and they said he's not kidding. It was that bad.
Well, I'm glad that she came back to take
Yeah.
another class.
No,
That's
so
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that was in the very early stages.
Yeah. Well, no, because you're a phenomenal teacher. So
Thank
I
you.
think I've taken every class, pretty much every class you've done.
I just teach the way I want to be taught.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
slow it down, explain it, do it 100 times.
Right.
That's what I want.
And with my setup being mobile, I don't have a classroom. So
Right.
Zoom has been the greatest thing for me.
Oh yeah.
And I think Zoom gives you a front row seat. You can focus in on your camera.
I don't have a classroom either. I don't
Yeah.
leave. I'm always here. I don't leave. People don't I joke that I don't leave the house. I haven't left the house since Vogue. I'm always here.
Okay, so you didn't even go last year, right? You were teaching from. Did you go
No,
last year?
that's my
That's your first time.
No,
back?
I've done every Vogue. Like
Okay.
that's
Okay.
I'll leave the house and I'm doing a cruise in November with Melissa Lehman.
I know. I saw that.
And there's a wonderful knitting store that just opened up locally. called #cafe. It's like a cafe and a knitting store, and I've
Oh
done some
wow.
local classes there. But otherwise, I used to be on planes and blah blah blah, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now I'm using the Zoom platform.
So tell me about, dyeing. What got you into that?
I
You started that after I
should have
knew.
seen what I was doing last night. I'm watching the new Dexter, and so when I used to travel teaching all my classes, I sold yarn, but it wasn't. It was my yarn, but it wasn't my yarn. It was
Right.
I would go to a company like Malabrigo and say, can you make me a custom color? And with Malabrigo especially, like they said, like we're happy to do it, but you need to order like a pallet worth of that color. So, and I was living in an apartment, and literally a pallet was on the breezeway, and they don't come in like boxes, they come in like these sacks. And I had a custom color from Three Irish Girls, and I had zillions of custom colors from Zen Yarn Garden. And when I traveled and was selling, so it's like I had a whole trunk show of just one color from each company. That was
Well,
so
you were a store.
special.
You were a little store
Oh yeah,
celebrating
yeah, but it was
it
made like
all
I only had
custom.
one color from this company, one color, and I would say so. Anyway, Zen Yarn Garden did a Dexter color for me, and so that color has to be like 11 years old. And then when I started dyeing yarn, I just was like, well, whatever, I'm doing it. So I started making the Dexter. And so I started watching the new season of Dexter, and I'm not a TV person. So like for me to watch TV, I have to really love the show. And I started making new Dexter colors last night. And
Oh
I
wow.
posted a photo it was on my personal Facebook. And like it looks like there's blood all over and like I always test things there before I put
Hmm.
it on like my business page. And I thought I was gonna get a very like, this is sick, this isn't blah blah. Everyone loved it.
See,
Sorry. So,
we're our
but
worst critics.
seriously, but the yarn, people think I'm a genius that COVID happened, I couldn't travel anymore, so I started dyeing yarn. And I mean, I am a genius, but it was nothing. It was not that. When I was traveling, I always noticed whatever skein of yarn had the most colors in it is always the first one to go. The
Hmm.
craziest, brightest, blah blah blah. So I wanted to see how many colors I can get in a skein of yarn, and I was just like, everyone's doing it. This is easy. I could do it. So I bought a pot, and I'm known to be impulsive. So I bought a pot, and you can't get those little coil burners anymore. Like you can get them online,
Yeah.
but I went to Bed Bath and Beyond, and they were like, "What? We haven't had those in like 20 years." I went to the next door. I went to Target. They didn't have them, and then I went to Best Buy, and I got, it was $80, this induction burner, and
Oh wow.
I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get this so I can, you know, play with the yarn tonight. I'll return it and just order a cheap little $12 coil thing. I still have that original one in my dye studio, which is my garage. And let's just say it was not as easy as I thought it was. So then it just it got very competitive. And I sold yarn, and where I'm sitting right now used to be just racks and racks of yarn. So I was going through and taking all the undyed. Every company sells their undyed yarn as a color. It's one of my favorite colors is the undyed yarn.
Hmm.
And I had trash bags filled with wet, and they had to be thrown out. It wasn't set correctly. It was burnt. And I was crying. And my husband said to me, if you were to take golf lessons, you'd have to pay for lessons to get better. And like, you're just blah, blah, blah. And I just wouldn't stop. And I remember we drove to Tampa, which is like an hour away, to some store that said they had acid dyes, and we got there and they didn't have the acid dyes because I was too impulsive to just wait for them to come in the mail. And so then I created the color Happiness, and then I remember a big company reached out and asked if I would create a series of colors inspired by fish. And like I had to decline it because I only knew how to make Happiness. It was the only color. I didn't know how to make any other colors.
Color, and it's
And let's just say I rode the
a
happiness
seller for
train
me.
for a really long time. It
I'm
was a
still
different color
riding them.
every stitch. and it's still I still dye it every time I dye yarn. But yeah, that was fun. And then with my I grow orchids, and then I started and then I realized that it is really an art form.
Hmm.
And you know I like I have a dye camp coming out, which is so much fun. But I teach like how to dye the yarn. But if you were to give me a photo, I can't teach what I'm doing. It's just like in my head, I'm like a little more red, a little more silver, brown here. It's just like you just keep on going until you get it. Because when I make something based off a photo, it
Hmm.
has to look. It can't be. I don't like the word inspired. It has to look like the photo. So
So how many you've thrown away a lot of yarn? Or
well,
there are a lot
no,
of
that was like the
things.
very very beginning.
So now it's called one of a kind, right?
Oh yeah, no, nothing ever goes to waste now.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
But no,
good.
that was like literally the first time ever dyeing yarn, not knowing what I was doing. Didn't look up YouTube or read on Google, like literally just went in a pot and was just like, oh, it's like cooking, which I don't do anyway, so it did not work out. Now I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah.
What's your
Because I'm
favorite colors to dye?
like in terms of like my color lineup or
Yeah,
just
like I mean, are you more saturated or
saturated, definitely saturated.
tonals, speckled, or
Everything's blues and purples.
okay.
I did just get a new base that speckles really well. The thing I don't like about speckles is I always say like if you had a plate of pasta and you put salt on it, now you have another plate and you need to put the same amount of salt and you need every single little grain to land in the same place.
That's not gonna happen.
Right, exactly, and that's what when you're speckling, you're sprinkling they're literally in salt shakers, and you're sprinkling the yarn with the powder, and it lands where it lands. So,
Right, right. Well, I love my color, so
your color is one of my absolute
I
favorites.
have to
I
show
took
it if
Did I
everybody
put
has.
photos? Yes. Did I should send you the photos. I When it was in the pants. Every time I dye that color, I love it
It's
so much.
I mean, and you said it was my logo colors, and I said, I'll be damned it is, because we didn't come up with anything. So
Yeah,
I really do love
I
this.
just love where the I love where the blue hits the
Oh yeah.
magenta and it naturally makes that like purplish color.
Hmm. I love this. So
There's two colors in your main color.
hmm.
There's two colors in that gold.
Oh really?
And then there's one color is the blue. But I have to be careful because if it hits the gold too harsh, it turns green.
Wow. Now do you put
And now those are hand painted, so that's not in a pot because
wow, okay, I didn't know that.
those are hand painted, and that's like one of the pooling yarns.
Yes,
Because
it is.
if you hold it up there, if you see where the gold is, I
Yeah,
specifically said I want the gold mustard color here. If
right,
it was in a pot of water, if I put the dye in, it would just start going everywhere. So
right.
here I said I want the gold here, I want the blue here, and then once I'm done with that, then I squeeze out the water and I turn it over and I dip the big part.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, and it's funny because in the beginning we weren't thinking sign pooling. That was in the
No,
very beginning. You just did this, and then all of a sudden a sign pooling came in, and this was, I
right.
wanted to start
And
reading.
that
I
could
went,
totally be done as in like
oh yeah,
in the ook form where the colors are all mixed up. But I
yeah.
love it like this because
No, I
they
love this.
you could do the plant in a sign pooling, but they also look incredible just knit up in a regular
Oh
where you
yeah,
get the little blips of the lines.
oh yeah.
Because no matter how you knit it, it stays. If you like it in the skein, when yarn is dyed like that, if you like it in the skein, you're
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed to like it knit up.
That's right.
So many
I'm gonna
times you buy a
grab
ball
some.
of yarn and it looks beautiful, and then you go to knit it and you go, eh. But with this hand painted style, all the colors stay together the way they were originally in the ball. Oh my god, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that pretty?
That's so
And
beautiful.
that's rocket tea. And
I
all
love
that we
that.
had Surrey, and it's striped with Surrey and the hand dye, but they're
I
both the
love
same
it.
color. I mean, I just used that, and I love it. But look
I
at the
love
colors. Look how it just. And then this one's Shayna's sweater, and I held the I'm sorry, it's inside out. I held the Surrey with, I think, the DK weight you did for me. Mostly we have fingering, but then here again, same thing.
Oh, I love that. Now, was that in the round or flat?
It's in the round. No, it's flat.
That's flat. I was able to tell the difference where the other one had some of the pooling going on, and this one's very mixed
Yes.
up. Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
That
see,
is
this is
beautiful.
really
I love
pretty.
that. And I never in a zillion, this is why I love doing things like this. In 100 million years, I would never think of gold. I would
Yeah.
never,
And
right?
that's only it's in my hair. That's, or not my hair. It's in the hair of the
Yeah, exactly. But
it,
I never would have put that. And especially with like my orchid colors and stuff, I would never put these colors together or even think about doing it. So
yeah,
it's cool to have inspiration.
yes, I love it. I love this color. And I was so glad you got me some more, because I'm telling you, it's a huge. It flies out, and I order a lot sometimes, but I have had it in almost any base you've had. So,
Yeah.
but we've got it in fingering right now. It's so gorgeous. So
I
anyway,
love that color. I
I
love
know
it.
it's really. I think that was like my first or second person. When you said that, I said, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'll take it." So
Yeah.
anyway,
But I knew how to do it.
yeah, that's fantastic. So what's coming up? I know you said you have the cruise, but what other
Yes,
things are you
I
doing?
have the cruise. I just put up a fixing mistakes class
Yes.
for August.
Ooh, I haven't done that. That's new, isn't
It's
it?
actually not. It's
Okay.
very old. I just haven't taught it in
I don't think I've had that one. Fixing mistakes. Okay.
because it's so old that I mean like I think I just taught it so much that I like, you know, zoned out of it.
Yeah.
Um, and I was looking through my classes, and a few people have said something to me, and you have to forget, like, even my biggest thing with that class is like, yeah, we're gonna pick up drop stitches and lifelines and blah blah blah. What I want everyone to do is, if you make a mistake or something is wrong, I want you to rip the entire thing off the needle without any fear of getting those stitches back on. And I have a way to show you that you're not you like you rip them out, you rip the whole needle off, you rip all the yarn out to where the mistake is. And usually the problem is you put the needle back in and stitches start falling and stitches are twisted and blah blah blah. We're gonna make sure none of that happens. So I put that class up, and then my favorite class to teach is crochet. I love crochet.
I know. I'm. If you haven't sold out yet, I'm going to sign up for that. So
That is my favorite class to teach.
because I only
And
know a chain stitch. So
that's exactly what it's for. I think it says it in the bio, or what I usually say is whether, most knitters, they know what a crochet hook is and they could do a chain stitch or a single crochet, and they say that's the extent of my crochet skills. And actually that class happened by accident because I had a class that taught how to apply crochet to knitting. So that it was a class for crocheters. But then I noticed anyone who was a knitter who took that class, they were doing single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, all in the whatever. And I realized it's because for this beginner crochet class, the homework is knitted. You have to knit a little swatch, and
oh,
we crochet a base around the knitting.
okay.
And the thing is, with a chain, there's no substance. There's nothing to hold on to.
Yeah,
So you have
that's
like,
the hard part.
yeah, there's this, and another problem with a chain is that you don't know the counting. So your piece goes like this, or it gets smaller. And so we crochet off of our knitting, then we go to a chain and forget about the knitting, and it always works, unless it's a little harder if you're left-handed, but it always works, and that's why it's my favorite class to teach, because I know in my head everyone's gonna get it when they come to this class thinking this is my 100th time like learning to crochet, and it's not gonna work.
Isn't it
Um,
cool that when you see their light bulbs come on?
oh, I love it. I love it.
I mean,
I love it.
it's just
And
amazing.
and I know in every class, like when it's gonna happen, like my Mobius class, that class is a
Oh,
nightmare until you get through the first round. I mean, you're trying to squeeze those stitches on. And I always say I'm not gonna teach anything that I wouldn't do.
okay.
And how's your black working going? I
It's
have
good. I wanted to comment on and just finding classes, so I'm still working. but that's because life happens. But yours is
Okay.
amazing.
But wait, I don't have. I never finish anything. Are you ready for this?
You finished it. Now I'm going to be blown away.
And it's framed.
See? That's not fair. Oh my gosh.
I love it. So, for those who don't know, this is a class that we took with Dario. And at the bottom, it is the yarn. The what is this called? Thread, the DMC thread, the floss. It's held tripled and then doubled and singled. And what I love about this pattern is that it just disintegrates. The pattern breaks. And
he's done a great job. But what I had a hard time was remembering what the back was. I mean, I always tried to save thread on the front, not thinking about the back.
And you're keeping the clothes on the back. And this was fun because we both had no clue what we were doing. And then afterwards, we were writing each other, and I was like, "Is this how it is?"
It's not. I'm gonna finish because
I thought it was just gonna be tracing over the. I didn't know there was a theme to it where
Yeah.
So I was last week. I was in New York up at the spa, and Chuck had it framed for me. But he took a photo and printed out the back and put my back on the back.
How cute!
Then you could see the back. But I was obsessed. You should have seen, and this is why I can't learn new things, because I didn't get it right away, which is fine. And I stayed up till 4 a.m.
You are much better than I did stay on it, but gosh. And you got it done.
But this is something I really wanted to do because it's reigniting my knitting, because now I want to do it on knitting. But I stayed up till 4 a.m. and at 4 a.m. is when the light bulb went off. It clicked. I finally saw it. The vertical, you go boop, 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 and then you come down and you cross the stars. And then I saw it. And then I was like, okay, now I conquered it. I know what to do. So then I went to sleep, and then I woke up and did the whole thing.
That's
the
amazing.
whole thing. And then I felt relieved after, because I was just like, okay, don't have to do that again.
Well, it took me, I kept getting this hoop kept going over, and I was making short. I wasn't getting to go all,
Yeah, I know. It's fun.
What I did was I turned it sideways, and then I could start doing it long, so I could get the rhythm of it. So, anyway, I will finish. But I love you and I both, I think, have this want to find things that are unique. And and bring something, to the
this is, to me, this is it's insane. It's like a painting, and I love.
I can't imagine wearing it without, hurting.
Melissa Lietman, who is doing the cruise, who I'm very good friends with, in her apartment, she has this sheet music that she bought when she first moved to New York City, and like music, and it's sheet music, and it just fades into nothing.
Oh, wow.
And this reminds me of that, where it's a beautiful abstract pattern, and then it just breaks into nothing. And I love it. So good job, Daria.
Try it on. Are you going to try it with a...
I'm going to knit a sweater.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it. Either I'm just going to do the bottom of the sweater like this, or the sleeves, not both.
Yeah. I was thinking of just a scarf. If I got through this and felt better, I'd But I think it'd be, I'm going to do a swatch first, because I think being on knit is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
Feel to it. So we'll see.
But, because mine, I used the fabric from.
I did too.
You get a kit?
Yeah, I did.
So I used that fabric. So I did the knitting. I'm going to get very obsessive with that in the hoop. Is it too stretched? Is it not stretched enough?
Oh, Heidi says there is having a year-long black work blanket. Oh, Tunisian crochet along.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I didn't even know black work embroidery was a thing.
Me neither.
I thought Dario invented this. It's it goes back thousands of years. There's also red work embroidery.
Oh my gosh.
And then I thought, because in the class, I remember Dario had mentioned with yarn, it gets too thick when you double it and blah, blah, blah. But my yarn that I have made has so many plies that I could do 2 happiness, 1 black. And then,
that is okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I made my bottom a little thicker but anyway, it'll get done. I promise. It's going to get
Yeah.
done.
But like I can't add any more things in because the knitting and the embroidery and the piano and the orchids, it's
You still
so
finishing too, I thought. At least your stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what
I've got,
about
like
your
very few.
are you knitting? Or you got anything on your needles now or
So the thing about the black work embroidery is I really did want to make it and frame it. So
mm-hmm.
that's why it was whatever. When it comes to knitting, it's for me, it's never about finishing the project.
Okay.
So I
It's
have
just
lots of
knitting.
projects. I have lots of projects going, but when I get to that point, and yes, I finish beautiful things, but when I get to that, I don't want to do this point, then it goes away and something else gets started. And especially with the yarn business and the new colors, seeing how you have to,
I
we
know.
have a knitting machine that we know can test and see how something looks. Um,
Who does
but
that? You or Chuck?
Chuck, I don't know how to use it.
I know I have one sitting in a box.
We have a
But I can't.
saying around here that Keith dyes the yarn and Chuck does everything else.
Yeah, I can see. I can see. Yeah, I decided to sell mine. Um, I'm going to put it on somewhere and try to sell it because I'm not going to do it. It's just,
It looks
it's wonderful. I wanted it for swatches and I wanted it to do the stockinette, piece
well,
of
that's
it.
all. I think that's all we know how to do.
Yeah.
But and it looks so much fun when you see
Yeah.
someone going like zoot
Yeah.
zoot zoot zoot.
It's a
But
lot
when
of
it
work.
I can't add going to the gym to my activities. Now it's not zoop zoop zoop. It's
Yes. But then you've got to fix all these little things before
and
you do
you have
it.
to put the weights at the
Yeah, yeah,
bottom
uh-huh.
and
I
all that.
watched somebody do it and I said, "Ooh, okay.
I'm like,
Nah.
nope,
Nope,
nope.
nope, 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 nope. Not gonna
But
do
I'm mostly a sweater knitter, so I have a lot of sweaters on the needle. I
Okay.
have another Lizard Ridge Afghan that I started. And that's something I love because it's square by square, do one when you want. I already have one finished, so
Well, what
it's
about do you design? Have you ever wrote
no.
okay, a sweater
I've
one?
always said I mean yes, the our most popular thing we've ever done was a Keith Leonard design. It was the 100 color cowl. But I've
There's a
always
lot of
said
people that have done that. So
yeah, it was our biggest thing. I am not a designer, and I have no desire. I have no desire. There's so
no,
much talent. I have no desire. I want to take a pattern and make it. And same with piano. I have no desire to compose. I
right,
want to play pieces that were already, played.
right. I don't want to dye yarn and I don't want to write patterns. Now,
Right.
I would love to find somebody to come up with a pattern to my liking, meaning custom, like, okay, my favorite things. I want a V-neck. I want this kind of shoulder. I want it short. You know what I'm saying?
Have
But
you
I don't know if anyone does that, but they ought to think about it because I never
do you have that 10,000 sweater possibilities
I
book?
need to look at that then.
It's a Melissa Leitman book, and
Okay.
it has oh my goodness, it has everything. It has, do you want a drop shoulder? Do you want a saddle shoulder? Or do you want a set-in sleeve? Do you want a crew neck? Do you want a V-neck? Do you want
See, I
positive
don't want to make a pattern.
here?
I want
Do you
somebody else to do
do you
it.
want a scoop back? It has
Yeah.
10
Everything.
10,000 possibilities.
Wow. Okay, I have to look
Yeah.
that. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that is. In fact, Chuck just used one of those books. I don't know which book it was. There's a few of them out there, and he made a sweater on like a very small needle, like very fine knit,
Ooh,
and it fits
perfect.
perfectly. And it
Wow.
really goes to show that those books work, but you
Yeah.
have to your gauge. You have to do a gauge. Do an 8-inch gauge swatch. There, because those books, it's all math. That's all it is.
I know. That's what
So
scares me.
yeah, your gauge, block your swatch, do the
Oh yeah,
gauge.
we can get on our soapbox for that, but
Right.
they all know that. Yes, but it's
Exactly.
interesting how I have learned though from just various classes, listening, watching that what I've come to like. I've always made something big, meaning I thought I had to hide, and just let it No, I want it a little more
No,
fitted
make what you want to
now.
make.
And then I want there's just a, want it to hit right, in the back, a perfect place. So I think I've got what I want in my head. So
Right. And I
and
know, like, in terms of design, like, I know 100% how to alter a
yeah,
pattern.
yeah.
So that, like that I know. But
Oh,
like, if you were to ask me to design a sweater with like a set-in sleeve, I'd have no idea how to do this. I could do the rib and the body and up to the bind offs, and then I'm like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
leave it, leave
and
it to the
getting it to all the
professionals.
different sizes that would just be too much. Too much.
Yes, exactly.
Debbie asked if your crochet class would have any granny squares.
That would be the next one. No, I do have this is like an absolute, we do single, half double, double, triple, and then we go off of a chain and then we start reading the pattern.
See, knowing what those are would be nice for
Yeah.
me to help other clients, to
Oh
know what
yeah.
a single.
Oh,
I
and
don't know what a single crochet is or double or.
there's nothing better than crocheting the neck on a sweater. It has so
Okay.
much more, it looks better, it has more structure, but from a designer's viewpoint, the goal of a pattern is to sell it. So if you put the word crochet hook in a pattern, the average knitter is going to go, oh nope, I don't crochet.
Right.
Like, so
Right.
yeah.
But that's not true.
And another place is baby blankets. Do you know how much faster it is to crochet a baby
That's what
blanket?
I hear. I hear.
Especially like when it's one of those friends that like you don't really care. Like
You're silly. Well, I did back in the, I don't know, 70s, maybe. Yeah. The zigzag. That's the only thing I learned to do
Mhm.
from a boyfriend's grandmother. And so
Yep,
I
the
made,
chevron.
yes, I made I mean, I made everybody in
Right.
the world. I don't know what stitch
You
I
stick
used.
to your favorite.
I just
I
knew I
usually,
went,
I have a couple of classes, and then my friend Crystal, who is Bag O Day Crochet on YouTube, who
yes,
she
yes.
has thousands of tutorials,
Yeah.
thousands.
Yeah. She's a
So,
real popular
and
crocheter.
the thing about crochet is all you need to know are these few stitches, and it really is, I would say, easier than knitting. Like it, and I think it's very interesting that knitters like have, well, I'm not speaking for all, but many have like a block against crochet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. True. And I mean, but everything's changed. Sometimes I can't tell sometimes if it's a crochet or knitted, depending on the sweater. You know what I mean? You probably could pick it out.
I can pick it out. There are some crochet stitches that mimic knitting
Yeah, it's
stitches.
just like I've seen something and they'll, and I'll go, I can't tell.
So if
So,
I'm making myself a sweater, I want knitted. I want a drapey,
yeah,
fabric. But
right.
one of my favorite things is crocheted lace, because that's when you can get that like spider web look where you have
Okay.
all the chains connecting things. You
Yeah.
can't have that with knitting.
And that's
So
skinny stuff, right?
yeah, those shawls that are, yeah. And everything you see crocheted in a store was done by hand. There was no machine that crochets. So if you see it crocheted, what about those? Do I have one here? Do you remember those like lantern moon tape measures? Here's a chart.
Yes. Yes, that
Mhm.
had yes.
Yeah, like that's all hand crocheted. Someone hand crocheted that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
yeah, so I put that one up. So that's coming up for the summer.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
anything else you've got?
I'm going to Nashville next week.
Good. What
So that'll be
for?
fun. I'm going to see Dolly Parton's. They're doing a preview of her Broadway show before it goes to Broadway.
Oh, how cool. In Nashville.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I know. So going to
Mm.
that,
Well, what
and
kind of a bases are you getting anything in? Are you dying? You doing your Dexter? Anything
I
new
have
coming?
this. I'm doing my Dexter line. Let's see if I don't know that I might get canceled after that. So we'll see. I mean, the original Dexter was amazing, but this is getting very bloody.
Okay, okay.
So I'm doing my Dexter line. I just finished with doing a sale, so that's all out the door. What I do is all of my nothing's wrong with them, but
Yeah,
if I'm dyeing yarn for an order and I splash red on it, it if you get it, it's not supposed to have that red splash there. So like it
right.
turns into an ook. So, at the end of every year, we sell off all of the, at a discount, the one of a kinds, the odd
Mhm.
die lots. When I have a random die lot that doesn't match anything, and then
Sure.
they just add up over the years.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
there's nothing wrong with them.
so yeah, so we're through that. Die Camp is coming up. That is sold out for the first time. I wasn't going to do it this year. And then there was a lot of interest. So, and that is sold out. So that I have to work on, but I probably have it down to just to add new stuff because I get a lot of repeats for that. Um,
How's getting
yeah.
yarn? Are you getting it now or still having a little bit of
It's so annoying. In fact, we just heard from our mill where we have the custom yarn made. They're like, "Hello, where are you?" Cashmere right now, unfortunately, if I have it all, it's in there. But
Mhm.
cashmere is not happening right now. I don't even know what the China markup tariff things are. But the thing is, if you're buying cashmere, it's coming from China.
Right.
It's Inner Mongolia is where the finest cashmere is, and they have some kind of very harsh climate change which shocks the goats into producing the fiber that's
Huh.
called cashmere. So I kept most of it as my personal stuff. Um, the thing is, there's always going to be new stuff available from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
somewhere. We just found a single ply that is unbelievable,
Let's
and
talk about single ply. I have so many people that don't want to play with single ply.
they don't.
No.
It's so interesting, and I never had one before. And now we got the single ply, and then they make it in a chunky. So we got the chunky, which no one knows about yet. We only have like 10 balls of it, 10 skeins of it. But I love this thing. I mean, Madeline Tosh Merino Light is like the number one yarn
I
ever.
know. I mean,
I
everybody
asked
has this big
ChatGPT.
fear of peeling. I, I
It
said
will pill more than the
I've
like
had
the really
regular
tight.
pill big time.
Everything pills. That's a
Yeah.
part.
I
That's a
mean,
part of it. Everything will pill.
but
The
I
and
understand it has a better drape, the
and
single
it
ply, and a lot of
well for me the
qualities.
way it takes the dye. It's
Oh wow.
insane. It looks like glazed pottery. It's
Oh,
so
okay.
like I have this red. It just glows.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
and then we have like this fluffy dye campers are gonna get the first taste at dyeing it and playing with it. But we found this fluffy yarn that's merino and it has a nylon core and it's lace weight yardage. So it has 660 yards, but it knits at a DK because of the I don't want to call
Halo.
it it's a boucle, but I don't want to call it a boucle because it's
Yeah.
not the kind where like your needle gets stuck in the holes. They're
Yeah.
so fine. Um, so that's
That's pretty cool.
coming out. Yeah, there's a lot in there that Chuck is the one who finds all the good stuff. But the single ply, I was taking a nap and I woke up, thankfully, and
Yeah.
and
I was about to call.
I walk into the kitchen and on our island there were 5 skeins of yarn. And this is when like the whole tariff thing was like trending that first came out. So I did my whole it's over, we're done, I'm going to sleep. And Chuck was very active and he started, researching and blah 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 blah. And I remember and I felt one and I was like, okay, it's soft, it's beautiful, it feels like everything else out there. Felt another one, yeah, it's great. Felt this one, kind of shitty. And then I held the single ply, and I just looked at Chuck, and he was like, In fact, I have the sample scan here, the original one. This is the
Oh,
original one,
wow.
and like, yeah, and we both looked at each other, and we were like, wow, get it. I
So
said,
it's
get it.
fingering? Is it fingering or
It's
lace?
fingering. So what
Okay.
we always go after is the 19.5 micron.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what gives it the softness.
Yes.
So
Explain that just a little bit if you can. I
oh
know that
dear.
I've heard 19.5 micron feels like cashmere, but
Yes.
but
It's
it's
the it's I mean, it goes even lower. It goes to
yeah.
in Tasmania is the only place in the world, I believe, where you can get 16 micron. But a lot of the hand dyed yarn out there is 21 micron. Um, the
Okay,
high,
that's
the
good. I didn't
higher
know that.
the higher the number, the less
Mm-hmm.
soft, and it
Yeah.
has to do with the diameter of the fiber. So,
Okay.
like a human hair, I don't know what it is, but it's a lot higher than 21 microns. Like it's, you know,
Okay. Okay. So the
cashiers like
lower the number, the
the
smaller
lower,
the
the higher the
distance.
quality. And it not that well, I shouldn't say the higher the quality, the smaller the diameter of the actual itty bitty little strand. And if it's smaller, it's softer.
I've got some DK and fingering out in the 19.5. And I've always, it's soft, it's wonderful, but I always wondered what the deal was about
I have
micron.
up in my cabinet here, I have a Vicuna. And
Ah.
I wonder what the micron on that is. It's probably like 2.
Now, somebody asked if you've ever done, I don't think you have, but have you ever done a advent calendar?
I haven't. So here's the thing, and I
I
think
mean,
minis are coming. I stayed away from minis because I always like to be different. So, minis were trending, speckles were trending. Um, so instead of these mini skeins, I was thinking, what is this? You have to dye them, which is fine. You dye them in one big chunk, but then you have to twist each individual one. You have to tuck in all the tails. You have to label them. So that's when I went big and made the Powerball.
yeah,
That was one ball of yarn to dye. It's one dye lot, one ball of yarn to twist, one ball of yarn to label. Um,
yeah. And they were
because of the
hot.
tariff.
And you
Oh,
can't get those
that
anymore, right?
that's our number one seller, and I can't. But why hasn't anyone copied it? I don't get it.
I've seen
But
some out there, but I don't hear about it. It's just I walk by and I
yeah,
see
I
something.
and I get the photos. People like buckle them in their car in the back seat. They put sunglasses on them. I only have one left out of the
You can't get any
thousands.
more?
Not now because of the tariff situation. I want to
Okay.
wait till August 1st is when the delay deadline for Italy is going to
Is
be
that where you get
whatever.
them?
I want it.
Italy.
Well, the problem is they're custom spun.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
can't order it and have it airlifted next week. If I could, I would. I
Right.
have to order 300 kilos at a time. So that's 3,000 skeins of yarn per
Powerballs.
well, it's 3,000 skeins of yarn and each power ball equals 5 skeins. So
Okay.
whatever that
Okay.
comes to. But three, it's because,
That's a
as
lot.
a as a as a dyer who goes directly to a mill, I have to meet the minimums. So that's a lot of yarn.
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
boxes, it's scary. But not only that the minimum is 300 kilos, it's per base. So then you have to have the fingering and the worsted. So
Mm.
if you know once we know, like, if the tariff is going to be 10%, then fine, I'll pay it. It's whatever. But if it's 25 or 30, now we have a problem.
Yeah.
So, and the
Exactly.
problem is, if I place the order today, it takes about 4 or 5 months for them to spin it. And
That's when the price.
I've gotten a tariff bill. So like then that with cashmere, when like I didn't exactly know what I was before I figured out that whole rule where if it's under $800, you don't have to pay the tariff or whatever. Um, so I want to wait till I know, like,
Yeah.
that
You can't
something is.
lock in
I
that
want
price.
something to be. I want it to be consistent before I
Yeah.
lock it in. Because once I place that order and I don't pay it until it gets shipped here, and
Yeah.
they're also not just like holding yarn for us. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be like, can you hold that for a month? Like, when it's ready, it's ready.
That makes
And
sense.
we don't put it on a boat, we airlift it. So when it's ready, gets here fast.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
So no advents. I get that.
oh
But
no. So I was thinking about doing minis this year.
oh, you are
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So in so I don't know if it's gonna be an advent. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking because we can get the new single ply in minis.
Ah.
So and I'm obsessed with the single ply.
Oh,
So
I've got to get some then. I got to hold it.
and I'm the only base I'm really on the hunt for is a really good beaded sequin. And
Hmm.
they make one that's like zigzaggy, and it doesn't meet my standards.
Okay.
And one of our mills sent us a sample of, it was last year, 2 years ago, of a yarn with iridescent sequins. And it was
Mm.
so and then they decided not to make it. I was so upset. So then they sent us another one. They were like, "What about this?" And it was uh a cream base with red sequins and red beads. And I was like, "This is like as is the perfect Christmas color." And then they decided not to do it.
God, you're getting me
So
all
there
excited.
must be something very expensive in the making of the beaded sequin yarn.
Yeah. What were you thinking to do with that? A sweater or what were you
Yeah.
thinking? Okay.
I mean, not for my, I wouldn't knit with it, but like it's so good for trims, and I don't know, I love this
Ah,
charcoal.
see how my
I
brain
like
doesn't go
black
somewhere.
sequins. Yeah, it's a base that I will want one day. You
Okay.
know,
That's
so
cool. Love it.
yeah,
Well, anything else going on that you want to share?
I think that's it. I have August. I have all this stuff
Yeah, you got
pretty
your
planned.
classes.
It's pretty. I keep FaceTiming my dad because, he's sitting at his office 9 to 5, and I called him. I was having lunch outside by the pool, eating butternut squash ravioli, and I was just like, I have all day, and he's like, I have a meeting. I have a meeting, and it's like you need to learn to relax.
Well, we didn't even talk about your orchids, but how did you get started
Oh
with
my
that? I
goodness.
have to say that.
Um, I've always loved. It's actually interesting. I worked at a florist when I was 11. I was always into plants.
Okay.
That was like hand in hand with the knitting when I was young. And when I first moved to Florida, I could start growing all these tropical plants and stuff. But Florida is so different than anywhere up north. I mean, say you buy a basil plant, okay? Up north, you grow it, and by the end of the summer, the whole pot is filled with roots. It's like a rock. It's leggy, it's overgrown, it's done. In Florida, you take that little basil plant, and in 1 week, it's this big and it's bubble
Not
up.
at my house, maybe at your
So,
house.
so, and when I worked at the florist, like a phalaenopsis, your typical food store orchid, and maybe it was before they were mass producing them and bringing them in from Taiwan, but um, it was like $80,
Mm.
and like I wanted it. I just remember it as being like the special plant when I worked in the florist when I was like 11 or 12. And anyway, like one of the world's most known orchid growers is 15 minutes from here, and um I'm friends with his daughter, and they have an incredible business called Palmer's Orchids, and I mean, it's zillions of plants. It is insane all around the world, the rarest stuff you can find. So yeah, I started buying orchids and orchids and orchids, and then I started really fine tuning of what I really like. Um,
How many do you have?
I don't, in the orchid world, people have hundreds, thousands, Well, I have very, very rare, very select,
Okay.
valuable plants. So
Okay.
I have about like 80 or 90. But you don't understand. It's a lot of work.
Oh,
Um, I
mm.
just 2 nights ago, I had to go out in the full body suit and the gas mask, and I had to spray the chemicals, the ones and this is most orchid people don't take it this far. But between that and the fertilizing, and then winter it's inside and outside because of the
Oh,
cold, and I have
no
species
way.
one of my favorite species who's from Venezuela can't go below 60 degrees, and I know it's Florida, but we go as low as 28. So, there's the whole inside outside thing every night. And yeah, it's gotten a lot. So I've really fine tuned it. But I have started, we, when we bought our house, it was almost done being built, and it was freshly landscaped, but we were the first house out here, and I don't think the water was on and everything died. So 2 years ago, we had the house re-landscaped, which I don't, it's fine because, they needed those, whatever you call them, to those big machinery equipment things to put like the really big stuff in the palm trees and the blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. But everything died. So this year I said, that's it. I have to do it. If it's going to be done right, I have to do it. So I went to Home Depot. And oh my God, plants are cheap. I mean, an orchid is like $300. I filled the whole shop at landscape. It was like, it's insane, and everything, it's flourishing. I'm so excited. It looks so good. And
Oh,
I bought the impatiens
mhm.
wilt.
Yeah,
They
in
wilt in
the
the heat,
sun.
but
Hmm.
the vincas, they're the best for annuals. Which I'm still trying to figure out what an annual is in Florida, because it won't die. But maybe they'll just get too leggy and overgrown. But you buy those plug trays where they're like
Uh-huh.
little nothings. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, in 2 weeks they're bushes. Like,
No,
uh,
it's you and the green thumb. So
I don't know.
you've got one, because
I
I
think
am
there's
terrible.
something wrong with those tubes they have underground, that the drip hoses.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've been, and there's an orchid that grows. It's called a ground orchid, an epidephrine, whatever it's called. And I put a few of those in from the nursery, and they're bright orange, the eppies. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
the yard is
cool.
starting to look good. But it's just so funny to me because it's I call them plants. Like the
Mhm.
average person, I don't know the names, and I'm just buying them, and I'm like, that's a cool plant. Like, and where it's an orchid, I could be like, oh, that's a Cattleya violacea cerealia. Like,
Yeah, that's good, because you've definitely got a green thumb. So there's just no. I've tried my
Do you know
best.
what it is? I never show my failure. Like if I fail at a plant, like I'm not showing a dead plant. I'm sh- I'm posting the you know
Well, it's also inspiration for your colorways,
yeah.
because some of those are unbelievable.
Oh,
So
I love them, and I love some of the color combination.
yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Keith, I thank you very much. You've given me an hour, and I
Oh,
appreciate it.
I'm
And I
happy
hope
to be here. Let's
everybody
by.
go and sign up for his classes. Save me one for that one. I'm gonna jump in here in a minute and get it. Fixing mistakes. Um, Although I'm learning to read my work, but I want to see what your tips are, because you always
Another
got
thing I do
something.
in that class, I always try to take something to the next level. Another thing I go that I find knitters really um, lack a lot of knowledge with, in a nice way.
Yeah.
If you don't know me, I'm very sarcastic. Is counting rows.
Oh yeah.
Counting rows. I don't own a row counter. Those little clicky things.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have. They used to all be in the couch. I don't own one, and I'm all about freeing yourself,
Okay.
freeing the need to have to run to a knitting store if you make a mistake, or what row am I on, or you rip it out, and if I'm making a
Okay.
sweater, the fronts are matching exactly to the row. I'm not measuring. I mean, I'm measuring, but also I'm counting my rows so I can make the next piece the same.
Yes.
So,
Tell me about that. I mean, I know I can tell you. Yeah. I've been on a thing about people measuring, and I say you got to count your rows
mhm,
in some form, but then you also need to know what your row count is from your swatch, because
right,
it may be different from your gauge. I mean,
exactly. And when you
gauge.
measure, you got to measure straight down the middle because the edges are always going to be
Yeah.
longer. Yeah.
So yeah, and then somebody goes, you do that, and I go, yeah. The one store, my yarn store, told me never, don't worry about the rows, just get gauge on your stitch, and it finally hit me. I guess maybe 10 years ago that was not right. I need to know
I
my
mean, the thing
rows.
is,
I
if
mean,
you were to have the exact gauge that the designer got, but I always say, there's no such thing as just 4.5 stitches to the inch, 5.5
right.
stitches to the inch. If you measure over the amount of stitches, it's 4.56222223.
Mm-hmm,
There's a blah blah blah, and that adds up over stitches.
mm-hmm.
We kind of go to like quarters. We do
Yeah,
quarters, and there's a
yeah,
lot more in between those. And again, we say row gauge isn't as important, um, but then unless your pattern tells you specifically what to do for every single row,
yeah,
which if you're making like a lace shawl, it would.
yeah,
If they have the pattern written out, but when it tells you the measure, then it's a different story.
yeah. But you can measure and keep measuring and keep measuring. It's the same thing, and you've been knitting.
Right, exactly.
Well, I say one thing: freehand made crochet says that
Mhm.
I crochet and I have counting rows challenging depending on what stitch I'm using. So that could be something
I have to add
coming up
counting
in your
rows
new,
in my crochet class. Yeah.
yeah. And then she mentioned I find counting my rows in Tunisian much easier. So yeah, I would think so because, well, I don't know. I don't know how to Tunisian, so I'm not going to go
Oh,
there.
it's reading your knitting.
It's just reading what you're making. You've got to, yeah.
Yeah, the thing with crochet is that, it gets confusing. You don't have any stitches on the needle. So you're
Yes.
all you're looking at is just the fabric.
You've got
But
to,
there's
yeah.
always my thing is there's always a place to count. If your piece has cables, you count the purl stitches between the cables. If it's a shawl, you have an edge stitch. There's always a place to count.
Okay. That's
And
cool.
have to find that place where you have that straight line.
Mm-hmm. That's
There's
right.
always a
Okay.
place. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be looking for your advent and
Yes.
and whatever else in the single ply. So you've got a lot coming out. So
Yeah. So
I
in August,
appreciate you so
I have
much.
all the teaching and stuff in August, and like who knows? There's no planning around here. It's month by month.
And I didn't tell everybody, but you were, one of the first people I talked with when I started the business, and you gave me such great advice, and you've been there for me, telling me different things and helping me with classes and all kinds of stuff. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart,
Absolutely.
and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, well, we appreciate you. Look, I have my little painting here. I love this.
I can't believe that. That looks good.
Right?
Yeah.
Andrew painted that for me, and yeah, and you're one of the three wholesale accounts.
I know, and I
As
feel special.
I abruptly, I was like, no more, no more.
I didn't know
So,
how many you
but
got
you're in three,
Okay.
and and no one's corporate, blah blah blah.
Yeah. It's just small batches. That's all I can have, but cool.
Yep.
Well, I love you and thank you so
Love
much.
you too. Thank you
And
everyone for joining.
Yep. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.